What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Formula Drift halftime show brought to you by AEM Intakes. My name is Sam Nalven.
And I'm Corey Hosford.
And I'm Paco Ibarra.
And we are the hosts of Maximum Driftcast, and we're doing the halftime show with you here. This is a very special round. This is, you've heard Jared saying it a bunch, it is the 100th year of Formula Drift. I remember 1917, 1918, little tiny baby Ken Gucci, baby Chris Forsberg going up against each other here. It was wild.
Yeah, you know, the veterans of the sport are really showing their age now, you know, that we just cracked 100 years of Formula Drift.
Wait, that's not right.
Oh,
I think we're hearing. No, it's 100th event. 100th event of Formula Drift. All right,
that's correct.
We got
that's
this.
right.
But it is a legacy track, as Ryan Sage said. We've been here since 2005. Almost every Formula Drift event has been here at this track in one variation or the other. This layout has changed a little bit from last year, but we wore out this layout a few years ago with that whole crossing the middle versus the kidney beam. But Corey, what do you think? You've driven this track, right?
Yeah, this layout here is the kind of the layout that was originated here from a while back, and it's honestly more of the favorite layout of the drivers, more so than the traditional kidney bean. You know, back in 2012, 2013, when they went to that kidney bean style to begin with, you know, so many other variables played a role into how the drivers actually navigated the track. You know, one issue they were fighting with a while back with that kidney bean style track is up in the middle where we're usually doing the crossover, there would be so much smoke generated in that area that would be difficult to drive through. And then obviously with the sun setting through the smoke, it was just a very, very tough atmosphere to drive in. But really excited to go back to the original layout that
I really
we started
like
with.
the pinto bean layout too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and of course the wall here has been a major trait of this track. People have been shredded on this wall. We've seen some injuries on the wall. We've seen lots of different,
totaled.
yeah, this car's ripped apart.
Oh, yeah.
And it started this event with some plastic on the wall, which was going to be maybe safer, kind of cooler. That way, if your bumper or your bash bar is dragging against the wall, it doesn't get caught. But so many drivers started hitting that, and they took it down. But they did weld together a bunch of seams in the wall. Still, it is one of the gnarliest tracks. It's one of the highest banks. Yep. It is self-contained, which is really cool. Yep. It changes how people can watch, changes how the judges judge. It's all right here. It's kind of like a mini Irwindale.
There you go. It's a good way of putting it.
Stole it from your man.
Yeah, and you know, the other unique thing about this track is, you know, this is a track, an oval racing track essentially, with an infield that we utilize for the drifting. But you know, a lot of the old track, they run counterclockwise. So when people end up getting into the wall running the opposite directions, it creates the design of the wall being very upset because of the opposite direction. So running this way, you're kind of running against the grain of what they typically use this track for, which is another variable to throw in. When you back your bumper against that wall, there's kind of that wavy motion that you'll be feeling, and that's kind of one of the things to let you know you're right on that verge of just losing it. But it's a wonderful feeling.
Yeah, and one thing that we are seeing quite a bit between competitors that may be newer to this track and newer to being in pro, and even just the people that really got it and the people that don't, and that's that launch. And this launch is so challenging because you're already struggling for grip with these cars when you pull away, but you're on a pretty heavy slope. And you see that if the chase driver doesn't launch at the exact same time as the lead driver, he's going to be 5 car lengths behind for almost the entire track.
You can see the car sliding down on the bank if they go a little too hard on the launch.
And that's going to be super tricky, and I'm sure we're going to see that definitely play out once again in top 16 and beyond.
No chicane.
No chicane, that's unique as well here. You kind of, the lead driver doesn't have to go around a chicane because it's such a short run-up anyways. We do see the painted lines, though, that you're not allowed to cross.
Yeah. But it's funny because you get to see drivers like Dirk Stratton, who literally does a burnout from the line
I saw
to
a
the
video
wall.
from yesterday. He was smoking tires for the entire time, shooting fireballs out the back of his LS Corvette.
Yep.
Yeah, this track here is obviously a big part of Formula Drifts, as it's been here for, you know, since 2005. It's the 100th round.
30 years.
Yeah, 45. At least 30 of the 100 years that have been around. You know, but so many drivers consider this their home track. Yeah. You know, you have Von Gittin Jr. from Maryland. You have Chris Forsberg being in Maryland as well. You have Ryan Turek, which he considers his home track. And, you know, between those guys there's 4 championships. The East Coast in New Jersey has been such a huge supporter of the Formula Drift and drifting community as a whole. You know, Matt Petty with Club Loose, you know, developing these drivers. We have some of the best drivers from the United States. We hear a bunch of Club Loose fans out there. Yep. You know, they run an awesome organization, but they truly develop some of the best drivers in the world. And, you know, coming back out to New Jersey and seeing these top-tier drivers that came from this area kind of come to light and shine. A lot more coming to this track.
Yeah, all right, well, let's start talking about this event specifically. We saw high qualifying, we saw JTP qualify first once again, second round in a row. He did that in Atlanta. And he also kind of...
Oh, sorry.
Well, hold on. I got to talk about JTP losing to Byron. He didn't lose to Byron. But in Atlanta, he kind of went to the kitty litter. He cooked it pretty hard. Because on your buy run, you kind of you show off. You try to do backwards entries and weird stuff. He dropped a drive shaft here. we saw the actual drive shaft just poking out from underneath the car.
That was a gift for the audience.
Yeah.
Like, here, have a drive shaft.
I'm sure some fan is going to have it, like running back to his car later, getting everyone to sign it. But he is the top qualifier once again. He's really dialed that qualifying line. A couple battles that we really liked seeing. One of the first ones was Helbrun and Denofa. Helbrun and Denofa, both extremely aggressive drivers. Helbrun coming back from a 0-point round at Atlantic, it's Motor Blue, I believe. Yep. He qualified very high, 8th. Against Chelsea, who we know is one of the best drivers out there. He qualified kind of low, surprisingly, but we still saw an incredible battle, incredible follows from both of them.
It's pretty gnarly. Like, it's kind of a tough choice for sure.
I feel like it could have gone either way. Chelsea's aggressive. His follows, I think, were maybe slightly more aggressive, but then he was a little bit all over the place as well. So you can see here on the bank, he was a little bit low, but still very inside.
And then Alex ended up taking the win.
Yeah, Alex ended up taking the win. It's exciting to see him coming back from a not-so-good round in Atlanta and just doing really well here.
Yeah, and also we were told earlier that he ended up losing a motor in Atlanta, and then the team had to go through, redevelop, and build the car to get it back up. And it's definitely shining here. You know, he's always done well. He's done well in Long Beach, which is another short, tight, technical course, and he's definitely shining here out here in Wall, New Jersey.
All right, another one that really stood out to us was the very exciting battle of Wang versus Wang, or in this case, it was Wang versus Carney in Wang's car. We got to see two green S chassis, AS14 and the S15, the 14 being Wang's. I don't know if it's his old car or just his demo car.
It's his old car, but it has an S15 front end now, so they both look like S15s. Yeah. They're both wearing the same body kit, same livery. They just changed, the title sponsor, as you can see. Now he's the Oracle Get Nuts.
Yeah, so Carney usually in the Dodge Viper, Oracle Viper, but he had some engine problems, so we saw him here in Forrest's car. We saw the Forrest versus Forrest, and that was a close battle too. It almost, I think, could have gone.
And you know what's crazy? Dean Kearney said that was the first time of him driving a left-hand drive car, and you saw him. He just went at it, put the car next on the door of Forrest's 15. It's a little confusing. It's a little confusing. Yeah. Like Forrest said on his interview, it's weird. I'm just like trying to get close to him, and I'm seeing my car, and I'm trying to get close to him.
Yeah, well, you look at the variables that Dean was kind of going against in this battle here. It was actually the first left-hand drive 240 that he's ever driven, because his Dodge driver's left-hand drive as well. But he was saying that he was going from 1,200 horsepower in his V10 twin turboed 1,200 horsepower monster to something that's now about 625 horsepower, which inline six. So he was saying, that was one of the biggest hurdles to get over. But he performed extremely well. The guy's super talented, but it's interesting to see how he does in his different chassis as well.
Yeah, all things considered, it was an awesome battle. And then we have Van Kirk and Castro. Van Kirk new to the series, and he gave Castro a very good run, or I should say Castro gave him a very good run, because Van Kirk actually prevailed after a one more time battle. And it's exciting to see some new blood do really well. Yeah. We know Castro's good. Even though Castro qualified a little bit lower, 18th versus 15th, we kind of expect him to pull away because he's got so much more experience. But Van Kirk really showed that he is someone to watch out for.
Yeah, and what's crazy, like after the one more time, the next battle, they were still very close. I thought it's kind of like a tough decision, even when
I think they voted one more time and then two for Van Kirk. So it's still kind of on the fence, but Van Kirk pulled away, and he is going to be moving on. And then we're going to skip a battle, and then we're going to talk about Gucci and Fede. We love Fede. We love to see him out here. He's gone through a lot of troubles getting this Ferrari to work.
Right.
And we saw him drive very well out here. He went up against Gucci. Gucci is a contender. He's always done really well here. And Gucci drove like crazy.
Yeah.
But Federico drove, I think, for the first time, showed the potential that he in that car really truly capable of.
You can tell that he's just giving it all. Like he's got the confidence that the car's not just going to break. Because that's kind of like being his issue, that feeling like not being able to complete a run, afraid of breaking the car, but he's just going all out. I think, it could probably go a little bit faster, because obviously Gucci's just pulling away from him.
Yeah.
But then on his lead run, he looked pretty good.
Yeah, the other thing about this, too, is Gucci has been developing that chassis with Grady for quite some time. This is the first Ferrari to ever compete in Formula Drift history. Obviously, there's still a lot of development that needs to happen to the car, but, it's just cool to see a twin supercharged V-tail for Ferrari come out here. And obviously, you want to wish the guy the best luck as he's still developing this car and being a part of the series. And, he was telling us earlier that, he hasn't been home in 3 months. And he was after the whole fire incident, he's like, dude, I just didn't have a chance to leave.
Yep. And you kind of get to see it here as well with against Gucci's FRS, is that you see excuse me, GT86, you see that the car is so big. It's a huge car. It's the biggest car out here, I think, by far.
It's got a big butt.
It's got a big butt. And we finally got to have spaghetti with him in the paddock in Atlanta. He cooked us spaghetti. It was
al dente.
I think so. I think that's the universal
that's
sign
the thing
for
you're
delicious.
supposed to do.
Grazie.
But yeah, those are some of our favorite battles. And then we have a quick commercial break. And then we're going to talk about our Nexen tire moment, which is our favorite battle, top 32. And then much more after a quick commercial break. All right, so this is now our most exciting moment of the top 32 competition. We call it the Nexen tire moment, and we've got to give it to Essa and Blush. The 4 rounds that went on, we saw 2 rounds, and it was insane because
BMW versus BMW, both V8s.
Blush,
one V8, one BMW engine, right?
Blush won Atlanta in one of the craziest showings we've seen from Blush, and that car is insane. Blush is insane, but very mild-mannered, very soft-spoken, the Latvian lover. But we saw an insane battle here because Blush qualified 27th. He qualified extremely low. They're sorting out some problems. He had a wall hit earlier.
And Essa qualified 6th.
Essa qualified 6th, but he's a champion driver. We know he can be strong. And we're not used to, it does happen almost every round, but it's not so common that you see such heated battles in top 32. Yep. And this, again, could have gone either way, I think, after the first one more time. But they voted in favor of Blush. But just the insanity, the level of driving. Blush is on fire once again. Essa drove and probably would have beaten almost anyone else out here today. Unfortunately, he went up against Blush.
Well, Essa, going back to 2014, 2015, Essa has some of the best runs out here. There's one memorable one of Essa versus Forsberg where they were just totally couldn't see the trees in the back because of how much smoke they were generating and how high up they were on the wall. And, Blush is coming off his win. He's the type of guy that in every interview, he's just looking for more speed. This is the guy that is like, I'm just looking to go faster and I'm looking to blow the doors off the other guys. He's a super driven, obviously super talented, but now he's still developing a car that is considered one of the fastest cars out here in the field, which is a naturally aspirated V8.
Yeah, and listen to the sound of that too, because I think it might be the highest revving LS out here. He told us in Atlanta that they worked on some tuning and they got an extra 500 RPMs out of it, and just that extra 500 RPMs in the top end is really what's maybe helping him. It just sounds insane.
He's nearly at 900 horsepower in a, which is
over 9,000.
Over 9,000. Pretty getting close. It's getting close. But yeah, definitely one of the best moments of the weekend, and that's at Nexen Tire and Farah Club moment for us is this battle right here.
Yeah, so let's then talk about what we're going to see in top 16. We have an exciting top 16 as usual. Starting off with JTP versus Hanadel. JTP, our top qualifier. Hanadel driving very well this weekend. What are you guys looking forward to in that battle?
I think Alex looking strong. I mean, it seemed like he was strong a little bit a couple rounds before, but he was looking very, very aggressive, very consistent during practice, during qualifying. So I think that's definitely going to be a good battle.
And JTP is a monster right now. Hopefully he got his drive shaft fixed. I haven't checked back in over there. But as long as he's out here, he's going to be definitely in contention for winning this event.
Should be good.
We then have Helbrun versus Forsberg. Forsberg coming off 2 podiums in a row. First podiums in over 50 years, I believe. It's been a very long time since little baby Forsberg.
And these guys have battled before.
And they have, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it'll be interesting. Alex is looking very strong. He came back from a 0-point round. It's looking aggressive.
Yeah.
It's looking like the car is pretty dialed in. So.
And then we have, and this is a battle we've seen many times in the past, and we're going to see it once again. Always exciting, Osbo and Wang.
Yep. And on top 16, I mean, that's crazy.
Top 16,
crazy battles already.
What do you think about that, Corey?
Man, once again, there's no easy battle from top 32 on, and now when you start getting to the top 16 moments, it's just getting that more tough. And I think it's coming down to consistency and reliability. These guys
you're a 2JC boy now, so
I still have a lot to learn with that, compared to these guys. But I think so many variables come in, into this particular track, and it's just consistency and wear and tear and making sure your equipment can last. For you guys watching, even coming off the bank, how aggressive that impact is coming off the bank, and that's where you see that typical FD Formula Drift style ride height.
Right.
They have to raise their car tremendously off the ground to clear that gap.
Jump,
right?
It seems very aggressive.
I saw on Forsberg's Instagram stories, he was making fun of Turk for having a little bit too much front ride height. It was good.
But out here, it's definitely needed. But between those two, it's going to be a tough battle. Osbo's looking strong. The one thing that I've been watching about those chase runs is Osbo's looking to get a lot of speed up the middle. You see him running a little bit more shallower line up the middle in that chase position to maintain that proximity. So I think if Wayne can kind of gauge off that and really pay attention to spotters, I think there's to be a favor either way.
And then let's talk about Field and Turk. I think this is going to be really rowdy because Field is always a rowdy driver. Turk is driving very rowdy today. I don't know what else to say. It's going to be wild.
It's going to be wild for sure.
Odie and Van Kirk.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. They seem like they both have a very similar driving style.
Odie went against Byron.
Younger, but
so we haven't really seen. Yeah, we haven't really seen Odie drive too much today. He just had his by-run, which he also did a really intense-looking kind of backwards transition in the middle, split out a little bit. He also could have lost a by-run, but he's still moving on. Going against Van Kirk, I don't know what's going to happen there. I want to say Odie, but I mean,
we'll see. We'll see.
And then we have the battle of some old champions, Gittin and Dye. Anything can happen there. We've seen them go against each other quite a bit over the past few years, and mixed results. I'm not really sure.
Vaughn's won at this track recently within the past 3-4 years, and I think he has a good advantage going to that. And I'd love to see Vaughn out here kind of in his home track, getting towards that top of the podium.
And then
another battle of double cars.
Yeah, a battle that we are always excited to see. It's a shame that one of the teammates has to go out in top 16, but we're going to see James Dean and Peter Visek.
That's going to be definitely interesting. They both have
very similar styles, almost identical cars.
Peter is, all out. He never lets go of the gas, where Dean is a little bit more technical.
And here's your spotter's guide to figure out how to differentiate the cars. They're in the front there. I think the front one is Dean. I think
that's a red top. It's Peter. Blue top is
red
Dean.
Top because he's got golden curls.
Yes,
he's got a beautiful. So that's how you're gonna remember that. And then I remember that the blue top is blue like the ocean, like Peter, like Otter, like P Otter. But then it's not Peter.
But it's not
right.
Exactly.
So it's Dean's blue like Dean's eyes.
That's right.
Dabu Dabu. Oh God.
Perfect.
And then we have Blush and Goosh. The Blush
the Belushi brothers.
The battle to remember the Belushi brothers.
What do you think is going to happen there?
I think Blush is out for blood. I think he's just going to annihilate everything on his path.
All right.
With that, I mean, we should probably go to
the Motegi Racing predictions. So these are, we filled out the rest of our brackets based off of what we've been talking about, what we've been seeing, and we have some picks for who we think is going to end up in the top 3 positions. Let's,
going to start with me?
Yeah, you
go. Paco, it's all yours, buddy.
Top 4, and have on one side have Chris Forsberg.
Yep.
Forrest Wang. And on the other side have Vaughn Gittin Jr. and Chris Stops Blues.
What happens?
Well, what's going to happen is that Chris and Wang are going to go one more time for like 8 times.
8 more times.
And they're going to just decide it with a coin toss.
Right.
I think Chris is very good at coin tosses, and he's going to move to the final.
Both cars are just going to be smoking piles of ash.
But on the other side, Blues is going to drive over Vaughn. He's just literally going to just
monster truck him, right?
And he's going to do that to Chris as well in the finals.
And
so
what do you see?
Blues first, Chris second, Vaughn Gittin third.
All right, I like that podium.
I think that's where we at.
Am I up? Oh, man. This took some time. I'm actually still writing down. I was kind of cheating off of Paco, but I was still writing mine down. I'm kind of basing this off of last round.
Did you not do your homework?
I copied off of Paco. No, I do have a little slight twist in my predictions. I'm going to give you my top 4 in no particular order, and I'll kind of break it down.
You always have to do the slight twist. Why do you have to do slight twist?
But here's my top 4.
It's very simple, Corey. Just pick who's going to win.
So I got Odie,
all right,
Pollock, Field, and Blues.
All winning the event.
All top on the podium. No second and third place.
Gotcha. All first places.
Yeah. No, once again, I think Odie's done really well out here before. He's won last year.
And we talked to him on our show right after he won. His motor was giving out multiple times throughout the night. He barely made it off the track last year with a motor that was all but dead, and he still pulled it out.
I've been rooting for Pollock since day one, since Long Beach, and that's kind of like my wild card that I just keep back in there. If I say his name enough, hopefully he gets a win. I can tell you guys I was right. No, but he's been doing well. Second time first place qualifier, looking extremely well, extremely comfortable out here. Matt Field looking extremely comfortable. Obviously had that big incident in Atlanta where he crashed into the wall. I think that was enough to shake the bugs off. Like, you know, already buried in the fence. What's the worst that's going to happen now?
Right.
I'm going to crash it again. I got it over with. So I think Phil, and I think Blues, going back to Blues, I think he's the only person that can beat himself. I think he's going to get so fired up. He's going to make a correction, and that's what's going to put him in that 4th spot. So my top 3, Odie, Pollock, and Field. Final answer.
All right, so pretty similar to you guys, actually. I see Forsberg and Osbo on the left side, and then I see Odie and Blush on the other side. Osbo's driving is still so dialed. It's hard to see him not on the podium. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a crazy. He's got a crazy bracket. He's got a bunch of champions. He's got a bunch of wild drivers. And then I see Odie and Blush. You know, we can't discount Odie. Like you said, he won last year. Blush won the last event. It's going to be insane. I think it's going to be Forsberg versus Odie. in the finals.
That's solid.
And I'm going with Forsberg on top.
There you go. I think we've seen this final race.
We
before.
have.
Yeah,
we
Forsberg and Odie at the finals.
But either way, and we've mentioned this before, top 16 right now is just a battle of titans. There's not going to be one slow battle. Everyone here is hyper capable. It's going to be wild.
That's right.
Corey, it's your birthday.
Do you know what, Sam? It is.
So we got to do a correction. Jared said you were turning 45.
Right.
You're actually turning 25.
25.
We're going to go out and rent a car.
Yep.
That's going to be exciting for you.
Probably it's going to be some nice Prius or something that's good gas mileage, once you get to that age. You just look about fuel.
All right, so make sure if you see Corey walking around the paddock, he's going to be doing free belly shots. You can do belly shots
all day long, man.
For his birthday.
Yep.
And that is it. We're going to have top 16 opening ceremonies here in a minute. That is our show. We are the Maximum Driftcast boys. This is the AEM intakes from the Drift Halftime Show. Thanks for watching.
See you guys next time.